So thank you guys for joining. We are at Word of the Day Wednesdays. I am author Nicole D. Millers, author of Stories for the Urban Soul. And I'm so excited to have my longtime friend and sister as a guest with me here today. As you guys know, I'm doing this series on my blog called Life as an Entrepreneur, How I Got Started. So this week we are featuring Esperanza Gallon, and you will hear me call her Hope sometimes because that is how I know her, but you guys have to call her Esperanza. And she's going to be giving you just a little bit of a tidbit of what she shared on my blog. So we're going to run through a few questions and you'll get to learn more about her and what she's been doing, how she got into entrepreneurship. So Hope, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, let my audience and readers know who you are.
Thank you. Well, my name is Esperanza Gallon. Hope for my friends and family, such as Nicole, my dear sister. I have been a professional counselor for a little over 8 years now, and I have my own private practice here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I see children and adults. I especially love to work with those in the helping profession and creatives and other counselors. So that is a little bit about me.
Yay! And so the first question that you answered on my blog is, what motivated you to start your own business?
Yeah, it was totally a God thing. I had transitioned from doing counseling and agency work to private practice, but I was working for somebody else, and I loved my job that I had. But then eventually, after being there for a little bit of time, that private practice got sold and it was not a good fit for me. And so God had really put in my heart, like, you should start your own private practice. And I was like, that's cute, God. Like, I've never wanted to run a business or have any part of that. Because I've worked in sales and corporate America and different things. I was like, I want no part of being a business owner. No, thanks. So I interviewed for probably like 9 other private practices.
Wow.
And each one, it just got worse and worse. Not like that horrible things were happening. They were like good private practices, but it was just more and more clear to me that none of them were going to be a good fit, and that I needed to do my own thing. So I finally surrendered and stopped being stubborn and started my own practice. And it was really just a blessing, a lot of hard work, because I did it in a very short amount of time. But finally being able to have something that was like good for me. So that's what God kind of pushed me into it. And eventually I got on board.
Now, I definitely can relate to that. I feel like my path was similar to where God was putting that on my heart and I was just dragging my feet. And so I actually had an interview like you, I was interviewing. And one guy even told me, like, you should start your own business. Like, what interviewer tells you they're supposed to be hiring you for them?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That is how one of my last interviews went, was like, oh, maybe I could contract with you and give you some support services and you could work for yourself and I could just help you out. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's so funny. Okay. So what support groups have you had in your success of achieving your entrepreneurial goals?
Yeah, such a blessing, really, that has allowed me to not only start my business, but still be in business. I have blessed to have several people that have done this before me. And so they always let me ask them a bunch of questions and they're giving me resources and support, which is really helpful. I have an amazing mentor here in Cincinnati that I just want to be like her when I grow up. So she's always encouraging me. And in fact, she had probably told me 2 years before that I needed to start doing private practice, and she just kept nudging me along. And so then when I was finally ready to do it, she gave me all of her tips and everything and was super supportive of me, still is. So definitely mentor. I cannot recommend that, enough. And then I have a couple friends that are also counselors that are really great support groups to me in different ways. One, she has her own business, photography and graphic design business, but she's also a counselor. So her and I will schedule a couple times a month to get together just to work on our prospective businesses, and support each other, help challenge our negative thinking that comes up when we're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this or whatnot. So that has been really great. And then I have another counselor friend that we get together similarly, but we talk about our goals every month and progress that we're making, barriers that are keeping us from reaching our goals. So these two ladies kind of serve as like an accountability for me that I meet with regularly to make sure I'm on top of my stuff.
Awesome. Sounds like you have mentorship, you have accountability, you have a support group. Even though you're an entrepreneur, you're not alone. And I think sometimes people think if you're an entrepreneur, you're by yourself, especially if you're a solopreneur like we are.
Right.
But you're not that community. And it sounds like you have that. Now,
Yeah.
you did, it is a lot of work. So what kind of challenges have you faced and overcome? And what has helped you overcome those challenges?
Yeah. Two big ones. I mean, there's many, which would be more time than what we have today, but two big ones would be the financial piece of, just what it takes to start up a business. And I'm fortunate, more than some other industries that, mainly I need space and a few things. I don't need a bunch of inventory and products like some other businesses need. But really to be able to finance things myself, because I don't really want to be in a lot of debt. And as a new business owner, when I was starting, they don't really want to give, a lot of money to new businesses. So that was definitely a challenge. And just talking again to peers of, how were they able to get certain deals and certain things like that. And I don't want to underestimate the power of prayer, of my loved ones praying for me to make sure, that not to make sure because God provides, but, just to encourage me, and the money did show up. The other big challenge that really kind of surfaced from the beginning, but I kind of put it in the back of my mind, but with everything in the pandemic really kind of was forced even strongly in my face, was that of racism and having to navigate certain aspects of my business that my peers were not having to deal with. And just really being frustrated, angry, exhausted by all of that. And so, in that, really, again, leaning on my support system, who are also really good about encouraging me to take care of myself with all the stress that I was under during the pandemic, which was helpful because I think I would have just probably kept going and burned out if they weren't keeping an eye on me.
So you definitely hit on a lot. So the first thing about starting the business and needing that financial investment, I totally resonate with that because I just remember even looking into a credit card for my business. It's like everything is your personal score, your personal financial information. Like you have to make sure that your stuff is solid for them to want to invest in you. So that's definitely a and then, of course, like the racism thing, for me, I definitely experienced that in corporate. And so branching out on my own, I felt a level of relief that I could be who I am. I could dress how I dress. I could wear my hair how I want to wear my hair. Like people will hire me for me. But of course, that could hinder me, in some ways. They may not want me to be as urban or whatever. But I take it as like, good. We're not meant for each other. This is not a good match. But I definitely resonate with the whole, racism experience. What lessons have you learned in being an entrepreneur, and what would you want to share with others as far as what those lessons have taught you?
Yeah, definitely to not undersell yourself. I did a lot of that in the beginning. I really was like, I don't see how I will be successful in this, but I really surprised myself in having more skills and gifts than what I thought I had, which was just a really cool thing for, obviously if God believed in me and prompted me to do this, like he had already put in me what I needed to be successful. So that, and, again, the power of community that you can learn those things that you're not good at, including learning when to offset certain things, or I guess branch out those things, outsource those things that you're not good at, because you don't have to be good at everything. And I really was trying to do that a lot at the beginning. But as I learned, I was like, oh, I can just pay someone to design this logo for me instead of me being up all night on Canva trying to figure this out. So that has been really helpful, and that's an okay investment. And to be able to challenge those negative thoughts, that poverty mindset of like, I don't know how this is going to work. I can't afford, being able to push through that has really been helpful for me.
Girl, you just said a mouthful. And one of the things you said when you said God believed in you, I never looked at it that way. It's like, yeah, if the creator of all things is saying you can do this, then you can do this. And so I'm going to conclude the questions that we wanted to discuss for the blog, but I want to give you an opportunity to tell people your website, if you're taking on new clients, maybe what you specialize in, or any upcoming projects that you see or have going for yourself in the future.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to offering classes later this year about financial literacy. I'm looking forward to offering some support groups later this year, just for some survival skills, because it's hard to be an adult out here in these COVID streets. So some support groups for people. So you could check my social media for that. So my website is facebook.com/Hope is Here Counseling. You can reach me by phone at 513-982-2525. So I would love to hear from you. I'm not currently taking new clients, but you can check out my website for the upcoming events that will be possible. I do have a waiting list, though, if you want to get on my waiting list.
Yeah, I told you that she was a boss. She got a waiting list. Well, thank you so much for taking out time, Hope. I really appreciate everything that you shared, and we're definitely looking forward to your upcoming workshop. So keep us posted.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Check us out next Wednesday at 6 p.m. for Word of the Day Wednesdays.